Okay, so the first thing that the pros do that most amateurs don't is that they get this lead shoulder a lot more behind the golf ball at the top of the backswing. So if I just draw an impact line in here from the outside of the lead heel, what we notice with the best players and the best drivers of the golf ball is that this lead shoulder actually creates a big gap now from here between that and the line. So look at the gap between there, the daylight. My upper body's leaning away from the target. And what this does, think about this. With a driver, we talk so much about hitting up on the golf ball. We want the lowest point of the arc just before the golf ball. The lead shoulder really influences where that low point is. So if I swing back and get the lead shoulder well back, now my low point is going to be so much easier to get before the golf ball because this left shoulder is more behind. Now, what do we see on most amateur golfers, or a lot of amateur golfers? We see that they move their club, they move their arms, but the top of the backswing, we often see that they haven't really moved the upper body enough. And one of the reasons I think this is because that a lot of golfers are focusing on staying still. We have to stay still, we have to keep the head central. Take a look at this. As I move, as this left shoulder gets more back behind the golf ball, look at the head. The head actually moves a little bit, which is perfectly fine, and it rotates. Look how much rotation I've got there. So just understanding that it's okay for the head to move a little bit. We don't have to stay still like this, because what's going to happen if you stay too still and the lead shoulder doesn't get back, you're going to potentially hit a lot more down and a lot more left on the shot. So this is a crucial component. Let me hit one shot and just notice what this left shoulder does here. So just pay attention to how far this actually travels when I hit the shot. And when I'm doing this, I'm really aware of this as well. So I'm really aware of, a lot of this is linked with rotation, which is the next thing we're going to talk about. But as I do this, just notice where that shoulder is. It's actually more over the inside of the trail knee. Let me hit another one now and just notice that shot. Notice where the shoulder moves to. That was really nice. What we're going to start to see is that the launch angle on that is a lot higher than I'm used to, because I'm really now feeling that I'm turning and loading the leg. And we often talk about this. We want to load and feel all the pressure in the trail leg. As we load it in this leg, it's so much easier to start to drive and push off from this leg. So here's a great drill that you can do. I want you to take your setup, and then I want you to place a golf ball about a club length just ahead of the inside of the trail foot. So drop a golf ball there, get the club across your shoulders in your golf posture. Now all I want you to focus on now in your golf posture is to get the butt end of the club. As we rotate, you're going to notice this journey. I'm going to get the butt end of the club to point down at that golf ball. And this does two things. It makes sure I turn and load, get the upper body in a good place, really leaning away from the target now. But from here, I've stayed in my posture. What we don't want to do is come out of the posture and have this pointing too flat. So I'm in my golf posture, and all I'm focusing on is moving the grip end of the club back behind the golf ball and pointing down at that other golf ball on the ground now. I can really feel now that the right leg, the pressure's all in this leg, probably 85 to 90%, and I am ready to go, and it's going to be so much easier to hit on the way up. That was a nice high draw, that was a beauty. Now, if you've got any questions on that first drill, let us know in the comments down below, and also don't forget to subscribe and hit the like if this is helpful. Now, the second thing that we notice about amongst the best players is that they actually rotate their hips more in the backswing. I can't remember the last time I gave a lesson where I've said to an amateur golfer, turn your hips less. Most amateur golfers that come to us for lessons, they're not actually turning their hips enough, and this is certainly linked to the first one as well. So why is this important? Why is it important to have a little bit more hip turn? Well, first of all, it's going to help facilitate, as we said, turning the shoulder back behind the golf ball. In order to do this, we need to really create a good hip turn. The second thing is, as we turn in the golf swing, certainly earlier, it enables us to actually synchronize the arms and the body better, so we are not out of sync. As I mentioned in the first thing, we see a lot of golfers moving early with the arms and not really creating any turn of the core, and then really we're out of sync and we have to throw it and play catch up. It's such a key component, and for the majority of golfers who slice the golf ball, think about this. If you slice the golf ball, you've got a path to the left. Now, as I rotate the hips, look from the down the line camera angle now, as I create the space with the lower body, it actually allows me now to swing more from the inside. The more my hips are stationary and still and my legs aren't moving very much, the easier it is now to swing over the top, down and left. So it not only will help you turn and load the swing, it's also going to help you swing a little bit more from the inside and hit up on the golf ball. It does so many good things. So what are the key to be able to do? And this are the two things I want you to really think about. The first thing is, well, how do we turn? I want you to focus on the belt buckle and the buttons on the shirt. So we're not really separating hips and shoulders. I want you to focus as you move on the way back, turning the hips, the belt buckle and the buttons. So you'll see as I'm doing this from both camera angles, the buttons and the belt buckle are moving early. I've created this hip turn early. Then hit a shot here, and I'm just going to focus on that point. Buttons and belt buckle. And that's moving early in the swing. It's such an important part of the golf swing to get it moving early. The second thing is really important for this is how we move the legs. The leg work is going to help facilitate how we turn the hips. So the first thing I want you to pay attention to is the front knee. So see a lot of golfers, a lot of amateur golfers are swinging back and the legs are very, very static. So they might get to the top of the golf swing and their legs look something like this. The knees are facing forward a lot and there's no real movement. Now, if you want to create a little bit more hip turn, I want you to link it to the front knee. So as I allow the front knee to work in, look, it allows me extra rotation. So swinging back, especially with the driver, allow the front knee to work in back behind the golf ball, and that will allow you to rotate more. The more this front knee is still, it's just so hard to turn from there. You'll see how it is linked as I turn to that lead knee moving in. The second thing with the leg work is the right leg, because the leg work is so important for this. As we make the rotation, watch what happens from the down the line camera here. As I turn and want to create a little bit more rotation, I'm going to allow the right leg to straighten a little bit. This is something that I sometimes struggle with. This right knee stays a little too flexed, but watch what happens now as I straighten it up. It just helps me get that extra little bit. Now what we don't want is we don't want you to lock it out like this and not build any sort of torque and tension. We just want you to allow a little bit of straightening in it so we can actually rotate a little bit more. So let me hit a shot and I'm going to focus on this one because this is the one that I tend to struggle with. I'm just going to allow that right leg to straighten a little bit in the way back. Again, really nice drive on that one, a little bit of a draw. And if you struggle with creating that, you know, a little bit of right to left, this movement here, this right leg, just creates that space on the way down to get the club swinging from the inside. I cannot stress how important this is. If you're struggling with a driver, I want you to look at the things that we've discussed. Think about turning the belt buckle and buttons and think about how these legs are working. It can really help you not only increase speed, but also help you with the accuracy. Okay, third and final one is crucial. Most amateur golfers do not do this. If you can do this consistently, you're going to have more speed in the swing, so more club head speed. You're going to have more distance. You're going to hit it more penetrating. And it's just going to be it does so many great things for everything in the golf swing, and that is how we release it the best. Now, what we want to focus on is making sure that we can get the energy into the club. So when I'm doing some swings here, you can hear that swoosh, that whoosh sound towards the golf ball there. Now the way I'm doing that is I'm releasing the hands in a good way. I'm not releasing the hands this way and flipping. What I'm doing is I'm releasing the hands this way. Now, what we see the best players do, the best drivers of the golf ball, is that their club face is rotating aggressively through the golf ball. So through impact here, the toe is past the heel quite quickly, but look at the face on view now. You can see the glove hand underneath the right hand. The right hand's passed over the top of the left. Now, does this look familiar? If you're somebody who gets bunched up through the golf ball here like this, where the elbows splay like this is robbing you of so much power, but also it's bringing in the right into play. When I look at the front view here, look at what happens to the club face. Club face is looking straight up towards the sky there. What I want you to be able to do is get the toe of the club passing over the heel, and look at the difference in the arms. As I do this, the arms are nicely extended, but I've really created some speed and closed the face. So think about this. This is flipping through the shot. This is what I want you to feel. I want you to feel that both hands are working this way. This in itself, as just a drill, is really simple to do, but it helps you understand how we actually release the club and close the face. So just having a shot where you just feel that pattern. What does it feel like to get the right arm passing over the left? Just a short swing, watch. There you go, that ball is going to work from right to left. Guaranteed, if you do this drill, more speed and definitely a better shape. Once we get the feel in this, I want you to progress into probably one of my favorite drills. I've got this from Martin Hall years ago, and it's just almost like a guaranteed way to close the face. What you're going to notice on some of the best drivers is that when the club shaft is parallel to the ground on the through swing, you're going to see that the butt end of the club is sort of looking down the target here like this, because they've released this golf club through like this. The arms are folding nicely on the left, and that butt end is here, then they'll continue on. So all we want you to do is create some awareness and feel of this. So I want you to hit a shot and do some practice swings first, where you stop here and get the butt end of the club pointing down the target line. If you're somebody who does this and finishes across, you're going to see straight away where that club is. So this is feedback for you, and it's perfect because you're going to do it and go, oh, I didn't quite get it. So start slow, practice swing, butt end of the club here, do a soft one, hold your finish and get feedback. Again, butt end of the club now is facing that way. That ball is going to curve left, but if you're a slicer of the golf ball, if you hit it too high and you lack a bit of speed, this is exactly what you need. And then you can start to progress to more of a full shot. I'm really feeling butt end of the club is closing over. And you can see again, that ball's going to work from right to left. A load more speed, a load more penetrating, and if you're a slicer, that draw is going to feel so good. Look, so there are 3 things that I know will work for you and help you with your driver. If you enjoyed that, make sure you hit the like. And if you want more coaching from myself and Pierce, make sure you check out meandmygolf.com by clicking here, or simply download the Me and My Golf app. Thanks again, and we'll see you soon.